Welcome back, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We are live on another Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. The best duel in the entire universe, the best podcast, and we thank y'all for being here for another episode, Cultivating Conversations with DP². I am your host, DeAndre, with my lovely co-host.
Déja.
We want to welcome everyone back today. I know we missed last Tuesday for some unforeseen circumstances, but
Mm-hmm.
our guest is being rescheduled, and we will have that next episode ready.
Yes.
But we were on TikTok live briefly, both of us. So follow us on TikTok, CCwithDP². I think that's that, or Cultivating Conversations. So yeah,
Yes.
how have you been?
I've been good. I was trying to make sure I shared it on Facebook too to get everybody on here, but I've been good. You know what? Last week was great because for the people who don't know, someone entered the chat and graduated. Okay, we have a graduate in the building.
Talk about
Yes.
it.
Yes, DeAndre graduated from Old Dominion University
Yes,
last week, and it was such a great day,
yeah, it
like
was.
the perfect day.
It was.
Shout out to you. Shout out to all of the hard work that you have put
Thank
in.
you.
Shout
Thank
out
you.
to the long nights, the fun
Yeah,
memories you've had. And
Max.
how do you feel about closing a chapter of a 5-year journey?
Man, anxious. Been in school since pre-K.
Right.
And it's just one of those things is like, what do you do next? So I know I talked on past podcasts about how being prepared, nullifies that anxiousness or nervousness. So
Mm-hmm.
for the next month or two, I just want to be prepared for my future, be ready. So,
Yep.
but right now, though, I'm just trying to soak in it first before I
Yes.
think about the next few steps. And so after a long journey, I am proud of myself for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
just trying to keep smiling. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy for you and I'm proud of you. And
Thank you. Thank you.
um
I
yes.
mean, but that ain't the only
Oh,
grad coming up. Let's
oh.
talk. We have another graduation, master's degree,
Hmm.
Jeff Parker, Georgetown University,
Oh.
this Thursday.
Yep.
Yes, so almost another graduate, almost, but yes, on the way to. How do you feel about that?
I feel, you know what? I'm extra excited, and you might be able to relate to this. I'm extra
Mhm.
excited because I never had the chance to walk across the stage.
Oh yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
did in high school, so to be fair, I did. But that was 10 years ago.
Yes, that's true.
So to be able to walk across the stage in a few days is the part that I'm probably the most excited for. I hope I don't trip. But no, seriously, I'm really happy. It's been a long 2 years, and I'm
Mm,
excited, and I'm happy to be able to finally be almost done with that. And this
mm.
is a great accomplishment. I mean,
Yeah,
kind of
it
how I
is.
was mentioning to you over the weekend. It's just like these are things that previous generations would have dreamed of doing.
Yeah,
So I'm just
yeah.
happy that we're able to do it and
That's true, man.
and, and just like enjoy that and celebrate ourselves. Because if we don't celebrate ourselves, who will?
Yeah, it's like you gotta be grateful for things before you like we look into the what's next,
Mm-hmm.
soaking in our accomplishments. So I definitely agree with
Yeah.
you with that. And walking across the stage Saturday was very, even though I didn't walk across, I walked across half, but it
It
was still
counts.
an awesome moment to hear your name called. It was a
Mm-hmm.
exhilarating feeling. So yeah, I definitely, you already know what that kind of feels like graduating college. You didn't get to walk, but this time
Yeah.
it'd be a great feeling.
Yes, for sure. So it's just been a great week on this side of
Yeah.
the city.
Shout out to
So
two college grads, man. Everybody that graduates this
yeah.
season.
Shout out to Devin as well, our cousin who
Yes.
graduated. I
Yes,
know.
for
Shout out
sure.
to all the graduates,
Yes,
2025
for sure.
graduates. But yeah, so I think because we were in this season of celebration and graduations and all of that, I think that today's topic is very necessary and relevant to
Yeah,
what we kind of
very relevant.
been mentioning. And I just think because DeAndre and I has had some time to reflect on our experiences in college or just trying to navigate young adulthood and really wishing that there were certain things that we knew
Mhm.
before we entered this journey and being
Yeah.
able to share that or just share our experiences and just different tips that we have for other people out there or just kind of like sharing what we had to go through and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
And
I just thought it was.
I just like you were gonna say, I think it's important, definitely, from like you said, people don't have the opportunity to do certain things. So it's on us to give some of that information and what we learned or what we struggle with or what we
Yeah.
can give to people that are about to go to school, never went to school, or people that are looking to go. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good conversation. So yeah.
I agree. Or even if these are things that you can share with people in your circles. Maybe it might not resonate with you, but it's definitely something that you can share with others. So either way, I think this is a conversation for everybody.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. So first I kind of was thinking about like, okay, I wonder what was the top careers when I first entered college, which was 2015 versus now.
Okay.
To see like if there was any differences, okay, or similarities,
Yeah,
because that's a 10-year span from 2015 to 2025, right?
yeah.
So when I was looking, it said in 2015, I just kind of grabbed a couple of the top ones. It had STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, healthcare, and business. That was 2015. The top careers when I first entered into college. Well, those were the top careers that you could pursue, right? In 2020, which is when DeAndre went into college, and when I basically just left, because I left in 2019, it was STEM, finance, and healthcare. So very similar still, right?
Yes, very similar.
And then in 2025, when DeAndre's leaving, and when basically I'm leaving as well, 5 years later, it's AI, cybersecurity. Shout out to you, DeAndre, because healthcare and marketing. So, but they all are related to either business, technology, and healthcare.
Yes. And
so just thinking about that really blew my mind, because it made me just be like, now why didn't I take a step back and potentially pursue some of these careers? Like, I would love to know first, and give us your honest take, why you decided to major in cybersecurity, enterprise cybersecurity. What made you were you even interested? Did you know this was popular? Like, what made you choose that?
Yeah, so credit to one of the great high schools I went to, Capital City, back in DC. They were very heavy on the whole STEM thing. That was huge. STEM was a thing that was being popularized middle school and high school. So it kind of caught my attention, like the sciences. And especially one of the first internships I had at the Smithsonian was STEM based. So that kind of why I looked towards cybersecurity going into school. But I first initially started with computer science, coding, scripts and things of that nature. And then I saw enterprise cybersecurity, so I took that switch. But I definitely think the influx of technology, being a kid that grew up to see the new iPhone, the new computer, the new game system, I think I just kind of acknowledged that, tech is the future. So it's like, of course, you want to make some money after school. And that's, what's always going to be the new thing coming out, or the new processor, or the new chip. So it's like, that's why I want to be, because I know that that's a market that will never not grow.
Right.
So I think people, like, especially with, I think, business being or finance being, it's like people are realizing the specialty of entrepreneurship too, back in 2015, influx of tech. So I think it's like all calculated. And for you STEM, why didn't that cross your mind?
And you know what? So when I was in college, when I was in high school, I was really interested in science. I was really interested. Like, some of my teachers were telling me you should take AP biology. I decided not to, but I was really interested in science a lot. And what changed my viewpoint was actually a teacher I had at the time who was had such a bad experience. It turned me off the science completely.
Wow.
Yes, that was in senior year of high school. The one, if you know who we had. But it was so bad. I was like, I'm not pursuing anything science related. So that's why it's really important to choose, schools wisely, which it was a great school, but I'm just saying teachers really do have an effect on what kids want to pursue after. How you were saying you had a good experience. Mine wasn't that great.
Yeah, that's true.
So I could have been on that track. I just was like, nah. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I really had no idea. Like, it wasn't like someone told me, hey, I think sports would be cool for you, or I think sport administration, because really sport management is the business of sport. Like, it's really just basically being in a business school, but a sport concentration. But I don't even know how I stumbled upon it. It was something I was always interested in. I was always interested in it. And so that's why I ended up pursuing that. But I wish I would have done a lot more research beforehand to know, okay, what are some sustainable like career paths, no matter what is happening in the world. Because if I would have done that, I would have chose something different.
So you think that the lack of research kind of hindered your future in a way? Maybe not hindered, but it
Yeah,
had effect.
it did, because I was like, okay, I love sports. When I saw that I could work in sports, I'm like, this is dope. This is
Yeah,
so dope. And I'm always a person you should go after what you're passionate about.
true.
But I think it needs to be realistic at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a way you can meet in the middle to say, okay, I do like this thing, but I also want to make sure that what I'm pursuing is going to be something that can last the test of time, or
True.
whatever the case may be. And you can only know that if you do research. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to hear this from
Yeah, that's very true.
You have to kind of learn it on your own.
I had that same experience when I first
Yeah.
went into computer science, thinking about major, but I was really just
Mhm.
thinking about something that was, like you said, can stay with the test of times, like coding.
Mhm.
That's something, well, with AI now, you see it might be getting hindered. But when I
Yeah.
first got there, it was like, this is something that we need. This is something that you get paid very well for. And that was all on my mind, was the money.
Mhm.
How can I get paid from this, right?
Mhm.
And that's not what I think you should be focusing on. And the reason I
Mm.
switched from enterprise to cybersecurity, and I think people should hear this, is that it's not about your grades all the time. It's not about,
Mhm.
top of the class or how much money you think that career can make, which is important.
Right.
There's things about the skills that you soak
Mhm.
up, what you're
Mhm.
learning in the class.
Yes.
It's less about the highest grade, because there's so many classes I had an A in, but I couldn't even tell you what I learned.
Right.
And it's classes I've had B's and C's and that I cherish the most, that
Yeah,
really
for
affected
sure.
my learning, or that really I prioritize what
Mhm.
connect with my future. So
Mhm.
I think that was something I wish I knew before, when I first decided to go computer science freshman year. Is
Yeah.
that I'm not really soaking in nothing. When now these next 4 or 5 years that I had, is like, okay, when I get in an interview or when I'm talking to somebody, all the information I learned, I can relay it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
I
I think that's important.
I think that's very important. And I think that when people are trying to think about, or when you're just thinking about life
Mhm.
stuff in general, if you're going to take the path that's less traveled, or however the quote goes, you have
Yeah.
to be ready for the slow grind. And I
Mm,
didn't understand that. Like, okay, no, let me back up. I knew being a woman in sports would be extremely difficult, because I even understood that in high school,
mhm.
or just but I didn't understand how hard it was going to be.
Okay.
It is so hard to enter into it, stay in it, want to stay in it,
Mhm.
pivot throughout it. Like, it's very, very hard. And I know there's certain things you don't know until you experience it,
Yeah.
but I just feel like certain industries are easier to,
Yeah. Continue in to grow in.
yeah, than others.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's something I want to kind of pinpoint. I want to ask you, and I think a lot of people go through this, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people feel this way in college or not. I want
Mhm.
to ask you, you've been in college, out of college, back in college,
Yep.
different jobs, etc.
Yep.
And this conversation was actually a big thing that happened a few months ago. Is success given, or is it earned? What do you think?
Is it given or earned?
And
Oh,
explain.
you said what? And
I
then
said, and
explain it.
explain your answer.
Success in the sense of like
Like
the
success, like,
traditional
huh?
term of success, like the
Yeah,
traditional.
like, you wanted this job. Do you think that you have earned it, or was it given? Do you think your future, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think is a little bit of both a cop out.
Okay. It is a little
Okay, okay. You know what? If I have to choose one, I think it's given,
okay.
because there are so many people that I know who are extremely talented, smart, driven, have all the tools, have all the skills, and they aren't traditionally successful.
Mm,
There's people who, I just feel like it's always timing. And of course, there are a lot of things that I have had that I do feel like I've earned. But when I line up the people who have traditional success up,
hmm.
and if I went through their history of what they had to do or what they've been through, I think a lot of people would be like, oh no, such and such gave
Yeah,
me this opportunity, or such and such told me about this, or did it. Like, when you really are earning something, I feel that it takes a lot more work. And I
yeah,
don't think that success always equals this person earned that.
Yeah.
And I've
Do you
had that
think that
experience with myself.
hinders people from wanting to grow, or like has it hindered you from wanting to continue to achieve?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%, because you're constantly grinding, constantly trying to get opportunities, constantly trying to figure things out, and you're not getting anywhere.
Mm,
Or I feel like I've accomplished a lot of stuff, or I've done a lot of things, but you don't have much to show for it.
mm,
Like I've been in so many leadership conferences. I've gotten so many scholarships to go to this summit. I've have so many accolades, so many awards, so many this, so many that, all these people that I know, all these connections, and it's just like,
mm.
but you're
A
still
good
just
conversation to
struggling.
have.
Huh?
I said it's a good conversation to have.
It's a
Yes.
good conversation to have, because when you're growing up, it's like you got to have this certificate. You
Yeah.
got to be able to be in this part of leadership opportunity. You got to be able to have these internships and da 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 da. But it's just like sometimes you can do all the things and it's difficult.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'm saying like, well, dang, I should have just pursued healthcare and called it a day. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
That's a good point.
And I know that this is a very specific conversation because we're in a certain period of time where careers and jobs and everything looks different. But
Mm,
at the same time, I feel like it still remains true where you have people who have all these accolades and you still struggling.
yeah. That's a great point. Yes. I was to answer my own question. I was gonna say I'm leaning towards giving as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's been not numerous, a lot of stuff I have earned as well, but it's been
Yeah.
opportunities or things on the table where it's like the person you know,
Yes.
if you have done stuff with them prior and you
Yes,
know their
exactly.
connections is the best way to receive a job, networking who it is who you know, not what you have,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. So I think that it does instill in me a sense of like unfairness.
Yeah.
And but I think you just gotta work 100 times harder, 200 times harder just to like I think something that I realized in school is like reputation and image goes a long way.
It does.
And especially being African American, I don't know in other communities, how prevalent it is, but for
Yeah.
us, it's a lot harder to get to places where we want to go. So
Right.
we gotta work 200 times harder, and especially in school, is the connotation on your name weighs a lot. And this is not pertaining to jobs or pertaining to a career, but
Just life.
the things that you do, the stuff you post, it relays a message between all the masses. So
Yeah.
I think people have to take a step back and realize that
Mm-hmm.
everything that you do day to day, and yes, it can be stressful trying to uphold this image. You just want to be yourself, but sometimes,
Yep. Sometimes
yeah, you have to do what's necessary to succeed.
you do.
And especially, I think who you are in people's mind weighs a lot. You
Mm-hmm.
can be the lamest, corniest person inside your room, but when you go out and people have this the superiority thinking of you or higher
Yeah, like this
thinking this
perception.
perception, I think that
Mm-hmm.
it goes a long way. And I tried to realize that in school, and I can't say necessarily it has helped. It's going to help me get a job or help me do certain things, but I
Yeah,
feel
but
like along with the people that like we said, it definitely does help.
yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, I think that like those are the things that you have to do when they say when no one's watching. Like, what are the things you're doing when no one's watching? But you
True.
feel like no one's watching, but there's always somebody
True. That's
peeping
very
out
true.
something. And so you definitely, like you say, you have to make sure that you're on top of that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Image was a big thing for me when I was in school. It still is. Like, you're not going to catch me outside doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing because I'm always thinking about like what is this image going to say? What
Yeah.
will this stop me from getting opportunities that I want to get? Because if you want to have that much fun, do it inside. Like
Yeah.
you're not stopping yourself from having a great life. You just got to know when and where to do stuff. You can't just be out doing whatever you want. And that's for a lot of younger. I mean, that's for anybody, but especially people trying to navigate these younger years of their life. You got to be on top of that for sure.
I agree. Definitely.
I don't know if I know when I first got out of school, it was like, so are you going to pursue your master's? Are you going to pursue your master's? Are you going to get your master's degree? I'm like, first of all, can
Right.
I get through undergrad first?
Right.
But it's a great question. But at the same time, I think that if I would have known if I knew then what I know now, I would encourage anybody
Okay.
to make sure you work somewhere that's going to pay for your schooling. A lot of jobs pay for people to go to school. A lot of universities, especially universities, will, if you work at a university, they will pay for you to go to school.
That's true. Yes.
And I wish I would have thought about that a little more. People told me, but I was just like, okay. But I want to be someone, the person who's experienced this, please listen to me. If that's something that you ever want to do in life, do not don't do it if you ain't working somewhere that's paying for you to go to school, because it's just an extra expense that you didn't even have to incur if you just would have went
Yeah,
to,
I
and you
heard.
could just work there until you finish.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that you should think about getting your master's once you have a job that may pay for it. So
Yeah.
teachers have said that, professors have said that their school or job paid for their master's. I'm like, hold up, well, they paid for their certificates or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. And I think like that's awesome. First of all,
Right.
that's true. You got to get the job first, right?
And that's true too. That's true too. I mean, yeah, it's always
Yeah, it is.
honestly, I mean, I'm a person where it's like, I don't even think you should do it unless you really find something that you really, really want to study.
Yeah.
Don't just be doing it just because people telling you to.
Yeah.
That's my opinion though. But I mean, what are your thoughts on, because I know, what was your process when you were trying to decide, like, did you ever visit ODU?
No, not officially. I went up here when I was playing basketball for a basketball tournament, but I didn't even know what was what. But it's like, okay, two things. College tours in general, I think, are very important.
Yeah.
Definitely just kind of seeing what the school is like, the atmosphere. But I don't think that you can really understand what a school is until you actually go there.
Right.
It's just that's the truth of the nature. I think you have to align yourself with as much as you can during the tour, or as much as you research or learn, or somebody that you have spoke with that have been there. That's the only way, because once you get there, you're really in it. That atmosphere is really what college is.
I'm talking about in it.
And to add, you stupid. And to add on to that, it's what you make of it at the end of the day.
At the very end of the day.
That's what it is. The school is what you make of it. So people that are thinking of going to school, it's like opportunities arise, or your friends arise when you actually put yourself out there. I know people that, I don't personally know people, but I've seen people. I've never seen them with no friends, never seen them nowhere. They probably be in their room all day, and that person, in comparison to me, will have two completely different experiences on what ODU was for them. I just think that it's hard choosing a school, but speak to people around you. I think that's the only thing I can really say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly, because just because you're there for a few hours, that they are selling dreams. They cooking the best food. They got the pom-poms out.
Literally.
Saying, come. And then as soon as you get there, you try to ask one question, they not answering your email. Like, don't even get caught up in that, because
that's very true.
Yeah, no. I also wish that I would have done more research about all the schools that are out here, because I always say to this day, I'm like, dang, I could have went to UCLA or something.
True.
With the LSU, like, because why not? I mean, it's far, but I didn't even know these places existed.
Yeah, it's a one-time experience. You have to cherish your college moments. Every year is special. It's the only time you'll really have this amount of freedom. Without really doing too much. And I only say that because I wasn't personally paying for school out of pocket or stuff, so I had that freedom.
Yeah.
But it's like, I really enjoyed my time at ODU. No matter what other people say about it, I had a great time. So, like Déja's bringing up, is like, the tours are placebo. They are, but it's like it's still beneficial to go. I would say,
to be able to see it in person and stuff.
But let's pivot, and we're getting close to the end. What's some hard truths for people that's navigating young adulthood, or just got out of school, and they like, what's next? What are some things that you could give to tell people to kind of rebuild their next future, basically?
Hard truths, because these aren't going to be sexy tips.
Yeah.
Hard truths, I would say that your happiness can't always come first. Sometimes you got to do what you have to do what you want to do. And that means, because I'm a person where if I am not happy, I don't want to be here. I'm trying to figure out how to leave the next day. I'm not trying to go or do anything. I'm not applying. I'm not doing like, that's just how I wasn't joining a club if I didn't like it. Like, I didn't want to see nothing through. Nothing. I'm just like, if it don't hit me to my core and my heart, I ain't doing it. But I don't think that's always the best way to go about it. I think that's a hard thing. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you do have to kind of work certain jobs or try certain things or like maybe pursue a certain major that isn't the sexiest, but it will work out in the end. Like,
Yeah.
of course, still be passionate and happy about it. But I'm just saying that can't be the thing that always comes first. And
Yeah.
that's something that I really had to learn. I think is going to continue to happen to me, that
Mhm.
you're
That you
not
have to
going to always.
sacrifice the moment for the future. I think
Sometimes.
yeah, I definitely think I learned that in school. And
Mm-hmm.
I just got out of school, but I'm saying I think I learned that in school is definitely your happiness has to suffer for what you really want to do in life. I mean, that's what everything. I think we got too
Yeah.
comfortable as
Too
people.
comfortable.
I think as people got too comfortable with hardships come and we just go the other way. I yeah, I think we have to learn how to navigate through the downturns. Is
You do.
yeah, like life is ups and downs at the end of the day. You know,
Yeah.
we're both still young, so we haven't gone through the worst of the worst, but we've been
Right.
through some stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it's just you can't shy away from the bad time because that's what turns into fruition.
It
So
does.
I agree with that. One thing I want to bring up is too
Uh-huh.
hard truth is that discipline is the separator. You know,
Mm,
at the end, like we talk about discipline a lot on here. People that's
I
listening
gotta
to
work on that.
me too. Me too. People coming into school, leaving school is like discipline is what separates the people you want to be from
Yep.
the person that you will end up as. Like
Yes. Oh, stop reading me.
some did. But yeah, it's I need to work on that as well. You know, we're open books. It's not easy being disciplined.
No.
But I definitely believe that is the defining factor of, I don't want to use success so broadly, but of what you will aspire to become.
Yeah,
And you have to differentiate yourself from the masses at the end of the day.
you do.
You have to be that difference maker. If you're doing something in your career, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're
Mm-hmm.
working a trade, you have to be that standout layer. And discipline, I feel, is that first, switch,
Yeah,
basically.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think in that same vein, it's like sometimes, or I was always told, it's who you know, it's the networking, it's this, is
Mhm.
that, right? Which is true.
Yeah.
But in life, I feel that the thing that's going to get you to where you are is yourself. I
Yeah.
have too much relied on other people to help me
Mhm.
or boost me up, or why haven't you done this thing for me, or why, if you know about this business thing, why haven't you taught me, or
Yes.
like, you work at this company, why don't I know more about, like, at the end of the day, because I know
Yeah.
so many people, but at the end of the day, no one's going to care about my life more than me. So I have to be the one to be like, all right, you know what, I got to take my life in my own hands. Someone's not going to always be there
Yeah.
to
That's a good point.
hold your hand to the next step of your life.
Hmm.
And that's what I was used to.
Mm,
So it's like, now
yeah.
Deja got to have her own back. You know what
That's very true.
I'm
That's very
saying?
true. I think at a certain point you lose that, like you said, that hand to guide you,
Yeah.
like you by yourself now,
Yeah.
regardless if you're being, supported financially or
Right.
stuff like that. It's you are yourself
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, and nobody's going to be there to tell you what your next move should or shouldn't be. And I
Right.
think also, just the last thing I gotta say for the hard truth is,
Mm-hmm.
like we already kind of touched on this, but everything won't go your way, and like we said, like that's okay.
You talking to me or?
Everything won't go your way, so it's like, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We have beautiful years of life to live.
Yeah.
6 months of downturn, a year of downturn, even though it hurts, it's okay because the next year and a half will go your way. So it's like you
Exactly.
gotta be grateful. You gotta, have faith in the process. And even though it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to say from somebody that just graduated school, I haven't even had no hardships, but
Yeah.
still, I like to remain positive even in the bad times.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it would be cool to I just thought about this, but I feel like on the Instagram story, I
Mhm.
just want to post like some hard truths that people might have about adulthood
Yeah,
and share them on the story, because I think it's true. Sometimes we get sold the glitz and glamour of life,
yeah,
and then we leave it to the older generation to give us like the hard truths, and then we're mad at them because they're really just telling us the truth
yeah,
because they've been through stuff. But we're
yes,
more like, nah, we could conquer the world. We could be president tomorrow. And they're like, Stinker, sit
you're
down.
right,
But we're
right.
mad. We're like, oh, that's hating. But no, I think it'll be nice to hear from other people about some of those things that are, it's just like it's like tough love in a sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
So, but no, I think I appreciate you for sharing your experiences and
Yeah,
being open and honest because we're
Been a
we're
long
on this
10 years.
journey.
It's been a long 10 years, you know.
Yeah, it has. And so I wish you the most luck on
Thank
your
you.
next journey of life.
Next
And
billionaire.
ooh, you heard it here. Clip it.
Okay.
Clip it.
But yeah.
No. Well, if you do, because I'm gonna say I don't know you because they don't need to be trying to kill me. They
You
they
ain't
be
lying.
trying to hunt people down. I ain't got time for that.
You ain't lying.
But no. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in to another pod on the
Definitely.
Hindsight is 2025. Instead of Hindsight is 2020, if y'all didn't get that. But yeah, we will see y'all next week. By next week, we'll be able to recap how my graduation went. So
Yes, definitely.
yes, but we hope that everyone has an amazing rest of their evening, and we will see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Peace.